A common objection about the reliability of the Gospels is that they are simply propaganda. Jesus is just a myth fabricated by the disciples to gain followers and power. Is there any validity to this claim? It's an important question, so let's talk about it. Are the Gospels made-up propaganda? Let's approach this objection from two directions. First, let's start with the motive. Today, we look at extravagant cathedrals, the political power of the Catholic Church throughout history, and the societal influence of Christianity today. Christianity did achieve some degree of cultural power, but this did not begin until the 4th century with Emperor Constantine. The early Christians still being fed to hungry lions in the Colosseum several hundred years after the crucifixion probably didn't feel that they had achieved a successful power grab. In their own lifetime, the disciples had everything to lose and nothing to gain. Of the 11 remaining disciples after the crucifixion, 10 were martyred and 1 was exiled. It's been said that a person might willingly die for what they believe is true, but no one will die for what they know is false. That not one of the disciples caved and revealed the hoax suggests that, if nothing else, they sincerely believed the truth of their message. Second, let's look at method. If the Gospels were propaganda, then they're extremely bad propaganda. Much of what the disciples wrote would have actually repelled people from joining their movement. They depict themselves as flawed, stubborn, and ignorant, not as inspiring heroes for people to follow. The elevated role of women and slaves was radically countercultural and unpopular. There's enough variation in the narrative details to indicate that the Gospels are based on the recollection of real eyewitness accounts and not the collusion of a single fabricated story. Also, many people involved in the biblical events were still living when the Gospels were written. This means that the events could be quickly fact-checked. In fact, the biblical authors actually encouraged their original audience to go validate their claims. They were clearly not trying to hide anything, nor could they if they tried. In the end, the idea that a handful of uneducated fishermen were able to orchestrate and pull off the most widespread hoax in human history at no personal gain to themselves is as big a logical stretch as anything written in the Gospels. So, is Jesus just a myth created by the disciples to gain power? Logic and the available evidence suggest otherwise. Hey, thanks guys for checking out this video. If it was helpful, I encourage you guys to check out our other Truth Collision videos. And more than that, I pray that you'll continue to collide with your world for Christ.